So another disappointing defeat for Arsenal yesterday at home to Leicester. Hello, I'm Richard and welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. Now in this video, I just want to look back on yesterday's very disappointing result, very disappointing performance against Leicester City. Just before I do that, I just want to make sure that you are all subscribing to my channel. If you like what I do, please click the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give it a like. Click on the like button as well, and if you've got any comments at all to make about the performance yesterday, the game in general, obviously anything to do with Arsenal, the team selection, whatever it might be, please drop me in the comments box below as well, because I do like to hear what you guys think as well. So yesterday then, what can we say? Very, very disappointing performance overall, particularly in the second half, and of course a really, really disappointing defeat. That's our third Premier League defeat already this season in just 6 games, and I think that all the early season optimism now is fast evaporating, isn't it? Unfortunately, we're just not playing well enough. I think that's the bottom line. Yesterday as well, it was perhaps even more disappointing because before the game, I think we're all excited by the lineup, by the change of system to the 4-3-3, which we've all been crying out for most of the season. It is the system that we'd always imagined Arteta evolving into anyway, particularly with the signing of Thomas Partey. Of course, it was great to see him starting in midfield, his first appearance, of course, at the Emirates Stadium after a great full debut, of course, in midweek away in Vienna in the Europa League. So the starting lineup, I say, was on paper at least, I thought it was probably our strongest starting 11. So it was Leno in goal, back four, Bellerin at right back, Kieran Tierney at left back, and David Luiz and Gabriel in the centre of defence. Of course, Gabriel, what a great start to his Arsenal career it's been. Brilliant signing for the club, some brilliant performances, and actually he did play pretty well again yesterday. So saying in the midfield, it was a midfield 3. So we had Thomas Partey was in the middle. There was Granit Xhaka to the left and Dani Ceballos to the right. And then the front 3 was Saka, Lacazette and Aubameyang. Now, at the start of the game, actually, Aubameyang started on the right of the 3 with Saka on the left, which was maybe a bit of a surprise. Aubameyang tends to be a lot more effective from the left-hand side, doesn't he? But anyway, that was how we started the game. And actually, in the first half, we actually played pretty well. Let's be honest, it wasn't a bad performance in the first half. And it should have been rewarded as well. After just 3 minutes, of course, when we got the goal, Lacazette's header from a corner. You can see the corner routine, actually. We've got a new set-piece coach, of course, we got from Brentford. And you can see the difference, actually, in some of the corner routines and free-kick routines. This particular corner routine was a great one, actually. It did lead to a goal, Lacazette heading in, but unfortunately, the linesman was flagged for an offside against Granit Xhaka. He wasn't active in play. He didn't really impede the goalkeeper at all. Very strange decision, but it was disallowed. Now, what difference that would have made to the final outcome, we'll never know, I guess, will we? But ultimately, the goal was disallowed. Despite that, I thought the first half we played pretty well. We got the ball wide. We got some balls into the box. And we had a few chances. Lacazette missed an absolute sitter, didn't he, from Kieran Tierney's cross. I'm not really quite sure what's going wrong with Lacazette at the moment. He seems to be lacking confidence. His performance yesterday was poor. But he started the season with 3 goals in 3 games, didn't he? I don't know where it's all gone wrong since then, but he doesn't look the same player. He's really struggling at the moment, and I think that miss yesterday kind of summed up exactly where his form is at this moment in time, unfortunately. But, you know, I say the first half, we did create a few more chances. Saka had a couple, didn't he? A couple of good opportunities he had. It wasn't quite to be his day. But at half-time, it was 0-0, and we thought, you know what, if we come out the second half with similar intensity, create similar amount of chances, a goal will inevitably happen. But that wasn't what happened at all, was it? The second half was really poor. Now, I do feel as though one of the reasons for that was the injury, of course, to David Luiz quite early on in the second half. And when he had to go off, it seemed to disrupt certainly our defensive performance. Mustafi came on. Of course, he's not played, has he, for a long time. His first game back, probably not the easiest game for him to come back into, and he did struggle. Now, Leicester actually started the game without a recognised centre-forward. They played quite a defensive system, actually. And then Jamie Vardy, of course, our nemesis, if you like, started on the bench, just coming back from injury. And it was inevitable that when he came on in the 60th minute, he was going to probably score at some point, because he always seems to score against us. And sure enough, he did. 10 minutes to go was the goal. From our point of view, it was a really sloppy goal to concede. It was just a ball over the top. Released their other substitute, Under, down our left-hand side. I'm not sure where Kieran Tierney was at that point. Granit Xhaka couldn't keep with him. and it was a ball across the box, and there was Jamie Vardy with a free header into the net from about 4 or 5 yards. And Mustafi hadn't tracked his man, lost him completely. And that's what happened. We were 1-0 down. Now, you know, what you'd expect from an Arsenal team that goes behind is you'd expect us then, in 10 minutes to go, is to bombard the opposition. You know, we were at home, but we didn't do that at all. We had a couple of corners, but I can't actually remember an opportunity that we had in those last 10 minutes when we were behind to equalise. Leicester held on comfortably. And that shouldn't happen. Leicester are a decent team, don't get me wrong. They played well, they defended well, but we should have, at least in those last 10 minutes, have created a few chances. And I feel as though had we done that, even if we hadn't scored, at least you could go away thinking we had a go at that. We really tried and we gave everything to get a result. And I don't feel as though we did. At the final whistle, I was so frustrated because I don't feel as though we gave it enough, certainly after going behind. And even before that, you know, we had one chance in the second half. That was that volley from Bellerin from Aubameyang's cross. We'd now switched over to the left-hand side. But the problems are clearly going forward. Defensively, we're not too bad. I thought David Luiz going off affected defensive shape. That's probably what led to the goal. But even without that, we'd have drawn that game 0-0 because we was never going to score. And this has been a problem all season. We're just not creating enough opportunities. We lack creativity in the team. We just lack an end product. We've got Aubameyang, who's one of the best goal scorers in the Premier League. In fact, since he joined Arsenal, I believe only Mo Salah scored more goals than him. And yet he's being forced to, for the team, to track back. He sometimes pops up in a fullback position, which is great that he's working for the team. But what it means is he's not going to be in a position to score goals at the other end. If you look at the role Jamie Vardy was given when he came on yesterday, he was basically told to play to his strengths, running behind, cause us problems. That's what he did, and he won them the game. You know, we've got a striker just as deadly as Vardy. Look at their goal scoring records, but he's asked to play in a completely different role, makes him almost ineffective. As you can see, he's got one Premier League goal this season in 6 games. You know, it's one of his poorest ever runs, not only at Arsenal, but in his whole career. So there's something wrong there, isn't there, in the attacking sense? I don't know what's gone wrong, because towards the end of last season, we looked as though we were improving. We were building towards something better. You know, we won the FA Cup, which was great, and maybe that pushed the expectations up a little bit higher. But this season we've gone backwards, and we've gone backwards really, really quickly. I will accept that yesterday was the first time we've used this 4-3-3 formation this season. Obviously, it's a first start for Thomas Partey at home. It's his first start in the Premier League. And it's maybe a system that's going to take a little bit more work, and I'm prepared to accept that. But it's just at this moment in time, it's just not good enough. We've played 6 games. We've won the 3 games that you would probably have expected us to have won when you looked at the fixtures. And the 3 games that maybe were a little bit more difficult, we've lost all 3 of them. And in those 3 games, we've only scored 1 goal. And that was a goal that was gifted to us at Liverpool, wasn't it? When Andy Robertson's missed kick went straight to Lacazette. So we're not doing enough in the final third in any game. And certainly it's been proven we're not doing enough in the final third to win against the better teams at the top end of the league. It's got to improve. We're not conceding as many goals. Defensively, we're a lot more solid. But unfortunately, we're going to have to start taking the game to the opposition a bit more, take a few more risks. It's almost like the players seem so regimented that they're almost scared to take any risks in the final third, just in case it doesn't come off. But you don't win football matches, or you don't win as many football matches unless you do start taking risks. When we're at home in particular, we've got to take the game to the opposition more, like we did in the first half of this game. We've got to do that until we get the goals, until we've won the game. And then we can maybe worry about seeing the game out and managing the game better. But there's a lot of improvement still to make. It's not, I'm afraid it's not good enough. You know, Lacazette's having a little bit of a confidence crisis, I think. So maybe perhaps he needs a rest. Maybe we need to bring Eddie and Nketiah in. We need to get Aubameyang more into positions where he's going to be scoring goals when we're attacking. We just all round need to have a little bit more connection between the midfield and the defence. Yesterday, the midfield 3 were far too far apart. It just meant that we were forced to play the ball sideways a lot, play the ball backwards a lot. It was quite easy for Leicester. They defended well. They deserved to win, actually, I thought, for the way they carried out their game plan and the way they completely nullified us in the second half. But that was as much probably down to our poor forward performance, really. So, yeah, very disappointing. Need more out of the team, really. We need more from our big players, but also we just need to be able to express, the players need to be able to express themselves a bit more and do things a little bit more off the cuff. It's all very, very regimented, and it's all very dour. I can't remember last time I actually enjoyed watching us play, if I'm honest. The games have not been great, have they, so far? It's been very, very uninspiring. And we find ourselves sitting 10th place in the league, which is where we didn't think we'd be this season. And it's early days, and let's not get carried away yet, but there's not a lot of signs at this moment in time that you can see us pushing on and challenging in the top 4, which is a shame because it is such an open season, isn't it? And this is an opportunity for somebody to get a consistent run of results together, and we've not been able to do that. Doesn't get any easier, does it? Because our next Premier League game's away at Manchester United, of course, a ground where we never win. I suppose take a little bit of comfort from this game is the fact that Leicester hadn't won away at Arsenal for 47 years, and they just ended that run. So let's hope that that's an omen maybe for us next week. But we're going to have to do a lot more. We're going to have to be a lot more bold and brave, and we're going to have to take a few more risks, aren't we? So that's that then. I hope you enjoyed that video, even though it wasn't the best game, was it, to be looking back on. Unfortunately, improvements are needed from the players, and also tactically, I feel, from Arteta as well. He's got to be doing more. But let me know what you think. Drop your comments in the box below. Let me know what you made of the performance yesterday, of the starts of the season, of what Arteta's doing tactically. Do you think he's on the right lines, or do you think he needs to change things a little bit? I know that yesterday was a slight change of formation that didn't work, but does it just need tweaking? Or should we go back to the 3 at the back, which actually has probably served us better over the past 8 or 9 months, hasn't it? Let me know what you think about that. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It is called The Positive Channel. I am trying to keep things positive. It's been a struggle the last couple of weeks, I'll be honest, but we're trying to stay positive if we can. If you like this video, please click on the like as well. That helps it to get noticed. I say drop any comments in the box. Coming up later on today, I'll have my Premier League review of the weekend. Probably the worst Premier League weekend of the season so far, isn't it? A lot of dull, boring games, actually. The goals seem to have dried up. But I suppose it's inevitable after the start we've had. Maybe things will start to settle down again now, and this might become a little bit more of a normal weekend, maybe. Not too many real shock results, I guess, either. Although us losing at home to Leicester is quite a shock result, isn't it, if you look historically? But yeah, so that'll be coming up later on today, and then of course we'll be building up towards the Europa League game against Dundalk on Thursday. I will put a preview of that game together, and then of course we'll be looking at the big game on Sunday away at Manchester United. I'm hoping to get a Positive Arsenal podcast in this week as well, maybe Friday, because obviously the Europa League game on Thursday. So we'll see about that as well. And in the meantime, of course, thanks for supporting the channel. Thanks for watching. Come on, you Gunners!